Okay guys, if you want to skip to the end and see, I got everything fixed and I was wrong about everything. So if you want to watch the video in between, fine. There's them apologizing to Bo and talking about just in general stuff, and me ragging on Ike Queen a little bit, and me ragging on Maddie's Drone World about a frame. And if you want to see all that, watch the video. If you want to just skip to the end and see me testing all the stuff, I was even wrong about the big ESC off the drone I crashed this morning. It still works just fine. I was wrong about the little ESC, and I test all that and show it to you. So if you want to see all that, just go to the end. What's up guys? So to recap today, ESC went bad on the Dimbot here. Let me just do this. ESC went bad on the Dimbot today, and I had a wire to come loose right in here on this little connector, and I was busting Bo's balls about it, acting like he didn't solder it good. But now I don't know. I mean, these little damn connectors are hard as shit to solder to, because on his last build I did. I had one that I thought I had soldered good in it, and when I went to arm it, it didn't. I mean, it armed, but the motor wouldn't spin right. And I got to checking, and I had done the same thing. I didn't have one soldered good, so it is possible. And I don't know for sure that it burnt this ESC. I'm pretty sure because I checked it from this point back, and it was showing. That other motor I put on was showing not to work, and where it happened was right in here. So, but I've checked this ESC closely, and I can't find a damn thing wrong with it. And I have put a meter on it, like Bardwell showed to do, and I can't find anything wrong with it. So I guess the only way to know for sure is I'm going to have to hook it back up to a flight controller and put a receiver on it and hook a motor to it and try it. I damn sure don't want to throw it away if it's still good. So I guess that's what I'm going to have to do. But Bo, if you're listening, brother, I just busting your balls. Hell, you know how I am. Don't take nothing personal. And guys, I shouldn't do that shit, because I know y'all don't know. Y'all probably think I'm serious. I wasn't even really that mad today. Couldn't y'all see I was smiling? And I mean, the way I was saying I was pissed is, you know when I'm pissed, and I wasn't really pissed. I was just having fun. But it could have been the salt water too. Salt water, he got this thing in the salt water, man, and salt water ate it up. I'm talking about it ate everything up. Anything that power was going through, even with things that, even like the bolts in the frame are just rusty as crap. So I mean, and that could have got it loose in there from corrosion. And then I've crashed the crap out of this thing, man, hard several times, so it might have knocked it on loose. Who the hell knows? But I do know these damn little connectors, I hate them with a passion. They're hard as shit to solder to, and they're just a lot of freaking trouble, and I don't see the benefit. But that's not my quad. You know, when I'm putting them on, for him, that's what he wants, so that's what he gets. But you know, other mistakes were made too, but it wasn't by Bo. It was by Ike. now I'm gonna rag on Ike a little bit. This T-Motor Volix flight controller, it had been soldered to, so I know he had already used it, or somebody had used it. I'm not saying it was him, but I'm assuming since it was his flight controller, he had used it, and he had it flashed to the wrong thing. When I put it all together and plugged the battery into it, the flight controller would just come on and reset itself, come on and reset itself, come on and reset itself, just over and over and over. And so I thought, well, maybe I need to update the board. So I went in, I hooked it to Betaflight. I hooked it to Betaflight, and then I hit that show what the target is, you know, automatically, and it showed it was a T-Motor F411. So, but that don't mean that's actually what it's supposed to be flashed to. That's just what it is flashed to. So I just assumed it was right, and I upgraded it to the latest version of that. and it is a F411, but it's not just a T-motor F411, it's a T-motor Volex F411. So once I upgraded it, it wouldn't work at all, not even at all. So I ended up getting online and finding out what the target was, and the actual target is a T-motor Volex F411. So once I flashed it to that, everything went to working perfect, and it's doing great now. Hell, it's flying better now than it was before. I was already going to have to replace this flight controller because I didn't have no voltage in my goggles from it, and I didn't have no beeper on a switch. Beeper wouldn't work. So that was very scary to fly this thing around with no beeper, and especially with no voltage, because I was afraid it was going to run my batteries. So I was planning on replacing the flight controller. I just wasn't planning on replacing the ESC. But it's no big deal. I'm hoping and praying this is still good. But and since I've checked it with the meter, I'm really hoping it's good, because I don't show to be bad. So I don't know. But them little connectors, man, I hate them with a passion. I ain't gonna lie about it. I ain't gonna lie about it. I hate them little things. They're hard to work with. They're hard to solder to. But anyway, Bo, I don't take nothing I say seriously, brother. And guys, especially don't. If you hear me saying something about Bo or Ike or even any of y'all, you should know I'm just messing with you. That's just the way I am. I don't mind it when people mess with me. So just don't take nothing I say serious. If I'm really pissed, you're gonna know it. I ain't the type that's gonna hold it back. And I'll be mad when I tell it to you. I gotta fix this. That's what I'm fixing to work on now. I'm gonna put a new ESC in it. I got a replacement for it. So I'm gonna fix that. All those batteries that I fixed the other night turned out great, except for this one 6S right here. And one of the cells I used in it undoubtedly is not very good. It starts out with great power, and just after about 30 seconds of flight, it just drops way down to like 19 volts, and it gets real hot right in the center, like it's got a bad cell in it. So undoubtedly, I didn't check the cells good enough, and I used a bad one. So for right now, what I'm gonna do, I got this one that Bo had sent this that I have never fixed yet. So I'm just gonna take the connector, because I don't have any more connectors to repair them. So I'm just gonna take the connector off this one, put it on this one, and fix this battery, because I know it's good. But all the rest of the batteries that I did turned out great. And Bo, don't worry about them lipos. We was talking about them 650 lipos and 850. I had just said, you was gonna get some 650s, and then I got to thinking about it later, and I thought, well, maybe 850s would work better, since we're gonna be running 3.5-inch props and not 3-inch props. And so I was just gonna have you to instead of getting the 650s, to get the 850s. But if you done got the 650s, don't worry about the 850. It's no big deal. I'm sure they'll work. I darn sure don't want you to go out and buying any more. Any different kind. And if this ESC here is bad, you're gonna have to send me another quad to build, brother, besides these other three, so I can get another ESC. Shit. Got lots to do. Oh, and Maddie seen me with this quad. I'm finna rag on you now, Maddie. He sent me an email the other day, Maddie's Drone World. He said, I got a Rotor Riot skylight frame coming. And I said, that's great. And I emailed him back. I messaged him back, and I said, that's great, brother. I said, I got one coming in a few days too. And so then and I don't think he ever commented back on it. So then a few days later, he emailed me and said, hey, I've got a Rotor Riot skylight frame I'd like to trade. If you've got something that a air unit will fit in. So I told him what I had and what I would trade for it. But then by the time he got back to the email, he had already fixed his frame and got it going. So then after he seen my video of me showing this with the double arms on it, he said, I got one of them. He said, why didn't you tell me? He said, an air unit won't fit in there. You should have told me. I said, brother, I did tell you. I said, I messaged you and told you. I said, either you didn't see the message or something, you know, not my fault. I said, that's why I was trying to trade you out of it, so I could wouldn't have to get Bo to get me another frame or another set of arms. I could have just used the arms off of yours. But all that's too late now and in the past. So, but that wasn't my fault. But alright guys, that's all I got to say. I got lots of work to do and I'm going to get back at it. I will say this thing's flying better than it's ever have. It was already flying phenomenal to start with, but now it's flying really good. And I feel a lot more safer about flying it because I got my buzzer working and I got voltage in my goggles. That made a huge difference. So, and guys, if this ESC is good, I don't know if I'll get around to checking it tonight, but if I can, I'm going to try to. But if it is good, I will let you know. Okay guys, so I have tested everything and I was wrong on just about every damn thing. Sometimes I can get that way. You think you know something and you really don't. This little quad, it did not have a blow DSC. It had a bad motor. I had another bad motor. I don't know, these little motors, they're really high kV for 4S, and so I guess I'm pushing them, running them on 4S, but it burnt this motor up, I reckon. I mean, it's not burnt or anything. It don't look bad, but it must have, a wire must have got into or something, because I swapped the motor and it's working fine. Alright, on that big ESC that I thought I blowed this morning on the Dimbot, it's okay. I got it hooked up here back just like, and I got a little tiny motor hooked to it. Let me get it over here in view and I will show you it works. You plug it up. I could have swore it was bad, but that was, you know, I mean, you make mistakes. I can't, ooh, I smell it. Wonder why. Can't run that long. I probably got it tuned way wrong for that little tiny motor. I don't know. I really need to stick a big motor on it and try it, but so far it's looking like it's going to work. Okay, I have got a different motor on there now, a bigger motor. I think that little tiny motor not meant for the tune I had on this thing, and whatnot. And let's see, and I was only able to get one bolt in it, so it was probably vibrating. That's probably what made it get hot so quick. Let's see how this motor works. If it works on this motor, it should be fine. It was motor 2 because I had the ESC in backwards, so it was motor number 4 actually, but it's labeled number 2 on the ESC because it was at the back left. So let's see how this does. Okay, it's spinning fine. Changes direction. There ain't nothing wrong with that damn ESC. It's not hot. Not trying to get hot. Huh. ESC's not hot. Fuck. I just made a bunch of mistakes today. Made a bunch of assumptions where I shouldn't have. I thought it's so much can go wrong with these things. No matter how much testing you do, until you just start replacing shit, a lot of times you're just guessing in the dark. You think you know and you don't. So it was my bad on all that shit. So that ESC is still perfectly fine, and which I'm tickled to death about because I needed it. I'll be able to put it in one of these other drones. Oh, maybe it was God. Maybe God made that little wire come loose so I would crash and do all this work, because I didn't have no beeper and I didn't have no voltage. So it's a good possibility. I believe in that shit about God, that He watches out for you, and it's a good possibility that maybe tomorrow, the next day, or next week, because I wasn't going to change it until I just had to, because it's a lot of work and I didn't want to change that flight controller. So it's a good possibility that in a week or two or a couple of days I could have got caught in a tree somewhere and not been able to find it, or crashed it out in the weeds and couldn't find it because I didn't have no beeper, and I'd have lost it for good. But now that shouldn't happen because I have a beeper. So, I mean, was it divine intervention? Possible. I believe in that stuff quite a bit. So, anyway, guys, that's the update. Everything's fixed, and I'm back in good shape. Have a great day.